Hey, it's Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Run the thumbs up on these videos. I appreciate you guys being here. A lot to dive into this morning of January 13th. First day on the job for new Alabama football coach Kalen DeBoer. And I think the first order of business is to make sure that you keep Isaiah Bond here at the University of Alabama. As you know, he landed last night in Tuscaloosa and had a team meeting. From what we hear, things were very positive at the meeting. And from what we understand, there could be some good news with Isaiah Bond. Again, you've seen it as well as myself, that he is forecasted to transfer from Alabama to Texas. Cannot let that happen. Have to have a full court press and a plan in place to keep Isaiah Bond. These are the ways that you can keep Isaiah Bond. Number one, showcase him and tell him, this is what we are going to do with the offense. Here is our plan. Here is our wide receiver coach. I'm going to talk about Jamarcus Shepard in just a minute. This is what we plan to do. We can predicate this offense around you. We had two 1,000-yard receivers at Washington. We want to make you a 1,200-yard type receiver. Want to put you at the punt returner. You got to keep Isaiah Bond. This player carries a lot of weight overall in the college football world. I honestly think he's one of the best in the SEC, if not the best wide receiver coming back in the entire country. Yes, Isaiah Bond is that guy. Of course, Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, Emmanuel Henderson, Jalen Hell, all those guys, risers. Keeping Isaiah Bond here at the University of Alabama is critical, okay? Second order of business, you speak with Caleb Downs on the defensive side of the ball. There's been some smoke about him potentially wanting to leave, following players from Ohio State. You've seen it as well as myself. You keep him. You show him your defensive plan. And I think the easiest way that you keep Caleb Downs is you elevate Travaris Robinson. You show him the defensive plan. A lot of us have been curious about this Washington defense from last season, right? We talked about that. Finished number 94, whatever, in college football. That's not going to fly here at the University of Alabama. DeBoer knows that. He's got to have a plan in place. You have to keep the number one freshman in the country. That was Caleb Downs. He's built different. He's a different type of cat. He has NFL written all over him. We know the type of player he is. Keep Isaiah Bond, keep Caleb Downs. Those are huge wins from the jump. Those have to be your most important tasks that you either took care of last night or this morning, okay? What is the coaching staff looking like? Well, that's a lot of, that's a very hot topic right now around Alabama football. And as we've spoken about, is Travaris Robinson going to be retained? Is he going to be elevated? Who is going to be the defensive coordinator for Alabama following Kevin Still, who also retired after this season, right? We know that defense is critical here. Coach Saban was a defensive-minded coach. What does your defensive plan look in place? At this point in time, we know that Courtney Morgan is a name to know. Why is this important? Well, Courtney Morgan served as the general manager under Kalen DeBoer. What is a general manager? Well, it's a really important position because it's a role that helps with player personnel. If you do some research and you read up on Courtney Morgan, you are going to be ecstatic about him playing in some sort of player personnel role or being in charge of player personnel role. This is a critical component from the jump. And you have Courtney Morgan also talk to Caleb Downs, also talk to Isaiah Bond. From what we understand, players gravitate towards Morgan. He is critical, and I think this is a slam dunk addition from the jump in this new general manager position that Courtney Morgan will have at the University of Alabama here, that players absolutely love him. Okay, who do we have at the wide receiver position? Who are targets? Well, I don't know about overall targets, but one name that has certainly been mentioned is Jamarcus Shepard. Talked about that with Isaiah Bond, right? You look to what he's done in the past, did great things at Washington. You research him, people at Washington loved him. Before that, he was at Purdue, where he was the wide receiver coach in the OC. There was a very talented wide receiver at Purdue. We know who that is. That was Rondell Moore, okay? I think that in some fashion, you could sell that onto Isaiah Bond and that wide receiver room. Is he target number one for the wide receivers? I would assume so. So let's keep track on Jamarcus Shepard. I think when you look to this coaching staff, another question mark that I have is, what are you going to do with Tommy Rees? You're going to retain him as the offensive coordinator. What is going to be your plan in place for the quarterbacks specifically? Need a quarterback whisper to come back here to Alabama. The last quarterback whisper that Alabama had was Alex Mortensen. Alex Mortensen was a behind-the-scenes guy that helped with not only Steve Sarkisian, kind of from behind the scenes from the quarterback standpoint, but literally improved and developed Jalen Hurts, Tua, Mac Jones, Bryce Young. He was the guy behind the guy before he left to UAB with Trent Dilfer. So who is there anyone on staff that can be the quarterback whisperer? A lot of people say that Kalen DeBoer could be that quarterback whisperer himself. It's a critical position. As you know, you got Jalen Milroe coming back. You got Ty Simpson. You got Dylan Lonergan, Julian Sain. That is a loaded quarterback room with so much talent. Making sure you have a quarterback whisperer and a plan in place for Tommy Rees. And if you're going to retain him, we want to know that. Are we going to find that out today during the 1 p.m. press conference? Quick note. The press conference will be at 1 p.m. today. We will carry that live right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So definitely hit the thumbs up and be notified every single time that we go live, whether it's a live show or breaking news right here on Bama Football on YouTube. What are your biggest questions for Kalen DeBoer going into this first day on the job? I want to hear from you inside the comment box. And what is your selling point to keep Isaiah Bond, right? Remember, he made that decision to enter the transfer portal before the announcement was made of Kalen DeBoer coming to Alabama. Look, this is a very emotional time for not only the fan base, but for also the players. I can't imagine how hard it is for a lot of these players to lose their head football coach and lose a coach like Coach Saban. The good news is that Coach Saban isn't going somewhere else. He's not going to another program. He's going literally to Bryant-Denny Stadium, where he will have an office to continue in some support role. What do we know about that support role? We're not sure, but we do know that with Coach Saban being within reach, these players will still have access to him, still have access to his mentorship, whether that's on the field issues, whether that's mentorship, whether that is business and NIL space. I mean, Coach Saban, certainly one of the best business minds that we have probably in this country, honestly. So much wisdom, and these players still have access to him. In fact, that's another selling point that I have for Isaiah Bond and for Caleb Downs and for everybody else on the staff is you still have access to Coach Saban. Now, there's a new regime and there's a new leader for the football team, and they have to respect that. And Kalen DeBoer has to be sure to be the alpha and be like, I am the head football coach. And the players will only buy into that when they see hard work, dedication, and a plan that is put in place. You do that and you show leadership, people will follow. Players will follow, and they'll want to play from you. Everywhere this guy has went, he's won football games. This is a daunting task taking over for Coach Saban. Coach Saban really excited about the transition. We're all excited to see that press conference, which will be at 1 p.m. Central Time. We will carry that right here on Bama Football on YouTube. My name is Kyle Henderson. I appreciate you guys being a subscriber and part of this 1,000 subscriber club right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I will catch you guys soon right here on the next video.